Have you ever wondered why some men seem to have an almost magnetic pull? Why women are drawn to them without even fully understanding why? Today, I'm about to open a door that most people don't even know exists. I'm going to share with you 3 deep, primal instincts that trigger intense attraction in women, the kind that can shift the entire dynamic between you and her. But before we dive into this, I need you to make me a small promise. Promise me that you'll use what you learned today for good. Meaning, you'll apply this knowledge only with women you truly feel a real connection with, not just for selfish reasons. If you can do that, then you're ready to continue. Because what I'm about to reveal isn't coming from a lab or a psychology textbook. It's coming from real-world experience, the kind that only life can teach. I've seen it, I've lived it, and when you understand these instincts, you'll realize how much of the game is happening beneath the surface, far beyond words, looks, or even actions. Stick with me until the end, because there's a bonus insight that ties all of this together. Something that separates men who merely attract women from men who deeply impact them. Ready? Let's step into the real world of attraction, the world most men will never fully understand. Let's start with something that women rarely admit directly, their deep craving for validation. You see, in the world of attraction, validation is not just a casual compliment or a like on a photo. It is a currency. It's a silent language that dictates so much of how women respond to men, and understanding this changes everything. A woman may feel physically attracted to you, but if being with you doesn't validate her self-worth, her desirability, or her social standing, the connection fizzles out before it ever really begins. Think about the world we live in. Men are often addicted to explicit content because it offers an easy, instant gratification. But women, on the other hand, are deeply immersed in social media, selfies, stories, likes, comments, all revolving around one thing: attention and validation. It's not vanity, it's a deeply ingrained instinct. Every like, every glance, every compliment fuels a subtle but powerful internal scoreboard that tells her, you are wanted, you are valuable. Now here's the twist. When a woman sleeps with a man, it often isn't purely about chemistry. It's about whether the experience makes her feel validated, victorious, elevated above others. If sleeping with you feels like a win, like she secured something special, she feels compelled to pursue it. If it feels too easy, too routine, too beneath her perceived value, the desire fades away quietly. Let me give you a real story that made this crystal clear to me. In my early 20s, I was casually seeing a girl. It wasn't anything serious, and deep down, I knew we didn't truly connect. One evening, I told her very calmly that I didn't think we were a good fit and that it was best to go our separate ways. What happened next stunned me. Almost immediately, her demeanor changed. It was like flipping a switch. The girl who once seemed indifferent now looked desperate to keep me around. She started clinging, begging, even trying to strip down right then and there, as if losing my approval had triggered a primal fear inside her. At first, I couldn't make sense of it, but over time, I realized it was simple. When I withdrew my validation, I created scarcity. And when validation becomes scarce, its value skyrockets. It's not cruelty, it's human nature. When something feels rare, it becomes precious. And in the dynamic between men and women, this principle plays out silently in every glance, every conversation, every decision. That's why it's critical to understand. Attraction isn't just about being handsome, wealthy, or charming. It's about how you position yourself emotionally. Are you someone whose attention feels earned, or someone whose attention is cheap and easily given away? When your validation feels like a trophy rather than a handout, women naturally crave it more, and with that craving comes a powerful, almost irresistible pull. Now that you understand why validation plays such a massive role, let's move into something even deeper. Something that awakens not just desire, but fear, the fear of losing you to someone else. If validation fuels the initial spark, competition anxiety is what turns that spark into a roaring fire. There's something deep within the female psyche, a primal, almost uncontrollable fear, that kicks in the moment she senses she could lose you to someone else. And once that fear is triggered, attraction doesn't just simmer, it boils over. Let's be clear. A woman's greatest fear isn't necessarily that you'll sleep with another woman. It's that you'll fall in love with another woman. Physical intimacy can be forgiven. Emotional betrayal? That's what truly terrifies her. Because falling in love means emotional investment, protection, resources, attention, all things that are critical from an evolutionary standpoint. Losing your love to another woman means losing access to those critical survival assets. even if she's not consciously thinking about it that way. You can see this everywhere if you know where to look. Notice how a woman's attitude changes when she sees other women noticing you. Notice how suddenly she touches you more, laughs louder, tries harder to grab your attention. It's not random. It's not accidental. It's ancient wiring coming alive in real time. Deep down, she doesn't want to compete, but once she senses there's competition, her instincts force her to act before she loses you. Let me paint a clearer picture. Imagine you're at a bar, and you're casually talking to another woman. Nothing serious, just light conversation. If the woman you're interested in sees this, two things happen simultaneously in her mind. First, she feels a pang of anxiety. Could he like her more than me? Second, she feels an urgency to reassert her place in your world. To make sure you see her, want her, choose her. This isn't about logic. It's about survival, pride, and the need to be chosen over others. I saw this play out so many times it almost became predictable. The moment other women showed interest, even subtle interest, the woman I was initially focused on would step up her game, lean in closer, make bolder moves. It's fascinating because it proves something powerful. Attraction intensifies when a woman feels she has something to lose. And here's the key. You don't have to fake this. You don't have to parade women around or try to make anyone jealous on purpose. In fact, doing so often backfires and makes you look desperate. The real art is in living a full, rich life where other women naturally notice you, because you are building yourself into a man worth noticing. When your life is abundant, socially, professionally, personally, competition anxiety arises naturally. Women sense it without you having to say a word. Understand this. If a woman believes you're a man of high value, someone other women admire or desire, it makes her desire you even more fiercely. Not because she's shallow, but because her instincts are screaming that you are rare. You are worth securing. You are worth fighting for. That's why some men, without even trying, seem to have women competing for their attention while others can barely get noticed. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's a deep biological mechanism at work. A mechanism you can activate simply by focusing on becoming a man whose value is obvious without ever needing to broadcast it. And now that you see how competition anxiety silently drives her closer, it's time to explore an even more personal trigger, something tied not to pride or rivalry, but to her deepest biological programming. And if you think attraction is purely about how exciting you are, or how good you look under certain lighting, think again. There's a deeper force quietly shaping her decisions, a force tied directly to biology, evolution, and survival. It's her biological clock, ticking silently in the background, influencing her more than she might ever admit. As women move through their 20s, something begins to shift inside them. It's not just societal pressure, it's biology whispering louder and louder, it's time. Even women who are fiercely independent, career-driven, and self-sufficient feel this pull at some point. Their bodies are designed to procreate, to create life, and whether they want children right away or not, their instincts start sharpening their focus on men who represent stability, strength, and security. I noticed this shift firsthand as I got older. In my early 20s, having a good physique was enough. I could walk into a room with a confident smile, and opportunities naturally came. It was simple, it was fun, but it wasn't deep. As I moved toward my late 20s, I started seeing a clear pattern. The women who once wanted just a thrill were now scanning for something more, something sustainable. They weren't just asking, is he attractive? They were asking, is he responsible? Is he stable? Can he build a future? This doesn't mean you have to become some boring, overly serious version of yourself. Not at all. In fact, the secret lies in having both sides of the coin. The alpha traits, dominance, physical strength, leadership, boldness, create immediate attraction, but the beta traits, responsibility, stability, ambition, create retention. One without the other leaves you exposed. You might attract her, but you won't keep her. And here's the twist that most men don't realize. Stability itself can be wildly attractive when paired with masculine strength. It's not providing that makes you weak. It's the absence of strength that makes providing seem pathetic. But when a man stands strong, controls his destiny, protects what's his, and also offers a woman a vision of a stable, abundant future, he becomes irresistible on a level most men never even access. You see, a woman's instincts aren't cruel, they're protective. She's wired to secure the best possible future for herself and any potential children she might have. That's not manipulation. That's survival. And the man who understands this, and builds himself accordingly, moves differently. He stops trying to impress. He simply becomes impressive. Now that you understand how her biology silently guides her choices, there's one final insight that ties everything together. It's not just about attraction or validation or competition. It's about something more fundamental, something primal that separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. But if you want to go even further, if you want to make attraction not just possible, but inevitable, you have to embrace one timeless principle. You must always be building. At the deepest level, women are drawn to men who are in motion, not men who are stagnant, clinging to past victories. It doesn't matter whether you're building your body, your business, your skills, or your network. What matters is that you're creating, expanding, evolving. You're not just surviving, you are thriving. Imagine for a moment a world stripped of modern conveniences. No technology, no safety nets, no easy comforts. In that raw world, the man who builds wins. The man who creates food, shelter, protection, and opportunity becomes the pillar others rely on. That instinct still exists today, buried deep within her. When a woman senses that you are a man who is actively building, who wakes up with a mission, who moves with purpose, it ignites a different kind of respect, a deeper kind of desire. Because you're not just a man who can entertain her today, you're a man who can lead her tomorrow. So now you know, validation craving, competition anxiety, and the silent ticking of her biological clock. These three forces are shaping attraction more than anything she says, more than anything you might guess. And when you add the habit of always building, always moving forward, you create a gravitational pull that most men will never even come close to understanding. Remember, it's not about tricks. It's not about manipulation. It's about becoming the man who naturally triggers these instincts by the way he lives, breathes, and moves through the world. A man who is in demand, not because he begs for attention, but because he commands it without a word. If this opened your eyes even a little, if you felt a shift inside you as you listened, then it's time to take action. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe for more. Your future self, and the women who cross your path, will thank you.